Hi, my name is Alexza, and I'm going to be leading you through a recover practice. It's the class I normally teach at the studio, and we're going to be flowing, and I want you to, while you're doing this practice, just think about your spine as water, the way water flows over rocks, or the way you see a snake, undulate along the ground, or the way a fish moves through the water. We're going to think about that. We're just going to let the breath flow with our bodies, and we won't be holding a lot of poses. So just think about the flow, and you can go slower or go faster with the length of your own breath. So don't feel like you have to keep up. Just move through it and feel your body and enjoy it. And Nadia is going to be helping me out. She's going to let me teach her today. And this is going to be fun. So we're going to start out in hero pose. So that you have two options with the hero pose. You can either sit on your heels the way I'm sitting, which is like this, or you can take the block and put it between your feet on either height. It doesn't matter, it's your choice. And you just reach your sit bones back and sit on the block. And so no matter whether you're here or there, we're going to be doing the same things. So from here, you can just close your eyes and rest your palms on your thighs. And you can move them a little forward on the thighs if you feel like that lets your shoulders relax a little more. And you're going to let your arms just hang down from the shoulder joints. Your elbows are just kind of heavy, and allowing the tops of the shoulders to move away from the ears. And once you're here, go ahead and pull the lower ribs into the body a little bit and lengthen the tailbone down. And you can let your navel come toward your spine a little bit and move up toward your ribs. And once you do that, just take the shoulders up toward the ears on the inhale, and as you exhale, bring the shoulder blades down your back so your heart is nice and open at this point. And you can keep the chin parallel to the floor and just move the bottom tips of your ears toward the back of the mat. So you get a nice long back of the neck. And once you're here, just reach the crown of the head up to the ceiling. And you can close your eyes if they're not already. And just allow yourself to let the toes and the legs and all of the body parts just soften a little bit. You can allow some space between your teeth. You can let the tongue come away from the roof of the mouth so you have some space above the tongue. Allow your cheeks to relax. Imagine that the entire scalp is just melting, and all the thoughts in your head just kind of float up and out of your skull, up into the sky, into the clouds. Allowing your forehead to relax, and that little space between your eyebrows. Letting the brows relax. Allowing the muscles around the eyes to soften. So it feels like your eyeballs are resting in the little hammocks in the back of the eye socket. And once you do that, allow yourself to move your awareness into your heart space. And as you breathe, feeling the wave of the breath move in and out of your body, letting yourself rest in your heart space. Noticing that as your breaths slow down and your heart begins to slow down, that your thoughts begin to just slow down and eventually just disappear, leaving you with a direct connection between your breath and your heart. And so we'll just take a few breaths here while I allow myself to just be quiet for a minute and let you breathe. Bringing the breath into the belly, the mid-body, the upper chest, and exhaling it out of the upper body, out of the mid-body, and out of the belly. Taking a few breaths, maybe letting the exhales be longer than the inhales. Taking 3 more breaths on your own. Nice and long. One more deep inhale. One more slow exhale. Good. You can slowly blink the eyes open. And from here, we're just going to take an inhale and bring the shoulders up toward the ears. And then exhale, roll them down your back. Moving the arm in the shoulder in a full circle, up and around. 3 times. Inhale up toward the ears. Exhale, shoulder blades come down the back. And then we'll just roll them in the opposite direction. You can let your hands rest on your thighs, roll them forward. Maybe you make a little wave out of your arms as they come forward. Or maybe they just hang there. Good. And once you've done 3, let's take an inhale. Bring the shoulders up toward the ears, squeeze it up, and exhale out of your mouth. Drop the shoulders. Inhale, shoulders up toward the ears. Exhale out of the mouth. One more, inhale. Now just to give the legs a little break, let's take an inhale. Let's lift up onto the knees. We're going to keep the block there. We're coming back into hero pose. Good. And we'll take an inhale, reach the arms up. We'll come back down in a minute. Exhale, bring your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Reach the hands down as you inhale and lift the heart up. The shoulders come away from the ears. Good. Release the hands. Inhale the arms up. Exhale. Bring the hands down through the center line. Good. Inhale all the way out and around, palms together. Exhale down through the center line. Good. Last one. Trace the spine all the way down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands come all the way down through the center line. Good. We'll inhale, reach up. We'll exhale, bring the hands down to the side as we sit back in our hero pose. Good. So we'll do some cat-cows here in hero pose. Let your palms just rest on the thighs, or you can walk your fingertips up to the tops of the knees so you can hold on to the knees and just allow yourself to inhale, roll the shoulders back, drop the belly, look up, reach the tailbone back to the back of the mat. Exhale, holding on to the front of the knees. You're going to round your back, tilt the hips back, pull the belly in, look at your navel. Good. 2 more like that. Take an inhale. Open the heart. Look up. Good. Exhale. Round your back. Pull the belly in. Look at your navel. Shoulder blades separate. Good. Last one. Inhale. Opening the heart. Look up. Exhale. Round your back. Pull the belly in. Good. Inhale. Come back to a neutral spine. Good. As you exhale, you can walk down onto your hands. And we'll take an inhale here, lifting the heart forward. Good. And then exhale, just walk down onto your elbows. You can move the block out of the way. We won't need it anymore. And so we're kind of in a Sphinx child's pose. Your elbows are under your shoulders. Your palms are flat. Keep the fingers spread wide. And lift the heart. Look forward toward the front of the mat. Pull your arms, forearms and hands toward you as the heart reaches forward and the shoulder blades reach toward each other. You're going to feel it in the middle of your shoulder blades. Good. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale. We're going to walk ourselves down into a full child's pose. Bend the elbows out to the side and allow your forehead to rest down. Now, if your forehead doesn't reach down to the floor, you can put one hand on top of each other and put your forehead on the back of your hand. Or if you can make 2 fists and put your forehead on top of those 2 fists stacked on top of each other. Take a moment to breathe down the back body as your belly is on your thighs, and see if you can breathe all the way down the back of your body, making space down to the sit bones. So feeling the breath move down the body to the sit bones, even to the pelvic floor. Exhaling, releasing the whole thing completely and allowing your whole body to become more limp. One more breath like that all the way down the back body. Feel those little muscle strands expand from the breath. And exhale, release the whole body down. From here on your inhale, we'll walk up, bring the gaze to the front of the mat. You're going to walk up onto your hands, and we're going to tuck the toes under and walk ourselves back. And you can either rest on the palms or the fingertips with just opening the bottom of the feet, or if you're feeling more daring today, you can come up and sit on the heels. And that's just going to open the feet, but be mindful of your feet. Don't put too much pressure on it. If this is too much, just come forward and take the weight off of the feet. That's the option. Good. So on your next inhale, come down onto the fingertips. You're going to untuck the toes. You're going to walk back to sit on your heels. And maybe you stay here for a breath, or maybe you walk yourself back onto the fingertips and lift your knees up just the tiniest bit. Good. Just opening the tops of the feet now. Good. Nice inhale. And go ahead and exhale. Let the knees rest down. Walk yourself forward. Go ahead and come into a tabletop position. The wrists are under the shoulders. The knees are under the hips. Spread your fingers wide. And on your inhale, we're just going to do some cat-cows from here. Tuck the toes. Take an inhale into your cow. Drop your belly. Roll your shoulders back. Look up. And then exhale. Untuck the toes. Round your back. Look at your navel. Good. 2 more like that. Tuck the toes. Take an inhale. Reach your heart forward. Look up. Exhale, untuck the toes, round the back. You could even press the heels back toward the hips toward the heels. Good. And then inhale, come up into that cow, tucking the toes. Exhale, untuck the toes. Maybe you press your hips back a little bit toward the feet. Good. And then maybe just some free movement, rolling the shoulders and the hips around. You can close your eyes for this, because this is really more about what it feels like than what it looks like. You can press more into the hips. You can press more into the shoulders. You can let your head drop more. You can let the ribs press out to the side. You find the places in your body that need a little more space, or that need a little more air. Let this feel good. This isn't about effort. It's about feeling what feels good to your body and just moving it around, listening. Conversation between the body. Make sure you roll in both directions. Good. And then coming back to center on an inhale, back into tabletop. We're going to take the blocks and we're just going to set them at the front of the mat. We're just going to open the shoulders. Oh, we can use books or pillows, anything like that will work. Just anything that's about this height. I mean, this is about 3.5 inches. You can use anything at that height. And you can even use one big pillow, because all we're going to do is leave our hands on the block and just walk back enough so you can sit on your heels in a child's pose, but your hands are on the block. You can slide the block or the books or the pillow forward until your arms are nice and straight. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, just let your head relax down as your hands stay on the pillow or the blocks or the books. Anything works. And you'll notice it in your shoulders. So this is another one of those poses where you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is just let your upper body relax down. Let your head be heavy. Be gentle with your body. And just breathe all the way down to where the heels and the sit bones meet each other. Make some space between those little muscle fibers. Take one more deep inhale all the way down to the sit bones. And on your next inhale, you can shift your gaze up toward the blocks in the front of the mat. You can walk up onto your hands. You can take your hands off the blocks. You can move the blocks out of the way, or the pillow, or the blanket, or the books, whatever works. You're going to walk your hands slightly forward of the shoulders. We're going to come into downward dog, so tuck your toes, inhale, and exhale back to downward dog. You can pedal your feet out. You can rock from side to side, or you can even hold one leg straight while the other knee is bent and just pause there. And move to the other side, bend the other knee, straighten the other leg, and just pause. Good. And then taking an inhale, let's lift both heels away from the floor, lift the tailbone up to the ceiling, drop the heart toward the mat, and then exhale. Release the heels back to the mat without changing your upper body. Shake your head yes and no. And since this is recover, we won't stay in this downward dog very long. Let's move the back a little bit though. So we're in downward dog. Take an inhale, round your back like a wave coming toward the shore as you roll forward into a plank pose, and then flatten it out. And then exhale, round the back as you roll back into downward dog. Take an inhale, round the back. Just think of that wave. The spine is like a big wave on the ocean. Exhale, round the back, and just roll all the way back, feeling the entire spine. One more like that. Inhale, rolling forward. Good. Exhale, rolling back, nice and luxurious. On your next inhale, you're going to lift your heels, come up on your toes, and walk your feet up to your hands until you come into a forward bend. You can bend your knees. You can put your belly on your thighs if it wants to go there. You can hold your elbows, or you can just let your arms hang down. Either way, stay here for a moment, breathing down the back body, feeling the back expand. Take one more deep inhale like that. As you exhale, lift your gaze so you can look toward the front of your mat. Come up on your fingertips, and without lifting your heels, you're going to bend your knees from side to side. And what's going to happen is you're going to notice that you're going to stretch the side of the hips, right? Because we have to reach them back in order to bend the knee. You can use your little pillow here or your books here too, if you feel like you can't rest your hands on the floor. So just shifting back, bending one knee, bending the other knee, and the other side will shift back. You'll feel it. Good. Good. Take a few more like that. The hips reach back on one side and then the other. And then coming back to center, straightening both legs. Maybe take an inhale, lift up halfway with your hands on your shins or on the blocks or the blanket or the pillows or the books. Exhale, fold forward. Good. We're going to take the pillow or the books, move them out of the way, bend your knees deeply, point your tailbone toward the floor so your back is round, and then as you inhale, just roll up one vertebrae at a time. You're stacking them one on the other until the neck and head come up. Turn your palms forward, separate your feet a little bit for mountain pose. Take a moment to close your eyes and see where you are now. Notice that since you started, just notice what's changed. Bring yourself back to your heart space and your breath. And from here, we'll take an inhale, bring the hands palm together at the heart. And from here, we'll just rock forward into the toes. Rock back into the heels as you exhale. Rock over to the right as you inhale. Rock over to the left as you exhale. Do that one more time. Inhale into the toes. Exhale into the heels. Inhale to the right. Exhale to the left. Now find your center between those 4 directions. If your eyes aren't open, go ahead and open your eyes. We'll do some modified sun salutations. We're just going to roll up with that rounded back like we did before. Take an inhale, reach the arms out and around. You can look up at your hands or look straight ahead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Take an inhale, come up on the fingertips or bring your hands to your shins, either one. Exhale, fold forward. Let the upper body surrender completely. Bend your knees deeply. Point the tailbone toward the floor. The back is rounded. Take that inhale. Roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. Once the neck and head come up, bring your arms up, and we're just going to repeat that same movement. Exhale, swan dive forward. Whoops, sorry.
You just do that.
Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees deeply, point the tailbone toward the floor. Inhale and roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. Once your neck and head come up, bring your arms up, palms come together, and let's exhale, bring the hands to the heart. We'll start at the heart every time. Take an inhale, reach the arms all the way out and around. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen the tailbone and the crown of the head away from each other. Exhale, surrender the upper body. Bend the knees, point the tailbone down. Inhale and roll up to stand. Take your time. You can take as long as you want. Once the head comes up, bring your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. We're going to do 3 more like that. I'm just going to do smaller cues. Take an inhale. Exhale, surrender. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, softness. Bend and inhale, roll up. Neck and head up, arms come up. Exhale, return. 2 more like that without any cues, following the length of your own breath. Returning to center, taking a moment to close your eyes, always remembering to initiate with the breath. Take an inhale. We're going to go down to the mat, reach the arms out and around. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold forward. Good. On your inhale, palms down, step the right foot back and then the left. And exhale, bring the knees down for modified plank. Take an inhale, bring the shoulders forward of the wrists. Exhale, lower all the way down. Bring the hands under the shoulder joints. Allow your forehead to rest down to the mat. Elbows are pointing up. We're going to just do some little low cobras to child's pose. So again, remember that flow in the spine. Take an inhale. Lift the chin first. Reach the heart forward. Elbows come into the body. Exhale, roll back down. Inhale, you're going to press up to hands and knees. And exhale, back to child's pose. So we won't hold it. We'll take an inhale, look toward the front of the mat, walk yourself all the way up, and exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift the heart into low cobra. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press up to hands and knees. And exhale, walk back to child's pose. Now from here, come up on the inhale onto the elbows. From here, we're just going to do a little side body stretch that's going to reach into the right back side of the body and the left. It's a very difficult area to reach, but this is a really good way to do it. So we'll take an inhale. We're going to walk ourselves over to the left side. We're going to bring both elbows down with the elbows and the hands parallel. Keep your sit bones in as close to the heels as you can. It doesn't matter if they lift up a little bit. Keep the left elbow on the floor. Walk the right hand out until the right arm becomes very straight. And you'll notice it as you press the right sit bone down and reach the right fingertips away. You'll begin to feel it in the right back side of the body as you breathe. So breathe into this area of the body. Breathe down the right side, the right ribs, all along that side of the body, and you'll feel it. Just expand with the breath and use the breath to create the opening instead of effort. Good. We're going to take one more deep inhale. As you exhale, you're going to walk back to center on the elbows, and then we'll inhale, walk over to the right side, bring the elbows down so the elbows and wrists are even, the hands, and leaving the right elbow and the hand on the floor. You're going to walk the left fingertips out so the left side body gets long. Press the left sit bone down toward the heel if you can. Breathe down the left side of your body, breathing in to the areas there where you feel resistance. So use your breath as a tool for opening your body. See if you can feel it literally opening spaces in the body that may feel more compacted or more closed, or just notice what you can do with your breath while you're here in this still position. Good. Take one more deep inhale. And then as you exhale, you're going to walk back to the center. And from there, on your next inhale, we'll walk all the way up to sit. And we're going to shift over to the right hip into mermaid position. So both knees are pointing forward. The feet are pointing back, if you can see my feet. And if you feel like you're falling over to the right when you do this, you can always take a blanket and tuck it in beside your hip. Or you can lift, pull the flesh out a little bit, and sit. So if you still feel like you're falling over, take the pillow you have or the blanket or the book and just put it right here next to your hip. And so we're going to open that right side of the body again. Take an inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, drop the left fingertips down and walk them over a couple of centimeters or inches or millimeters and reach with the right fingertips. So we get that long right side body. Now, if you want to take it a little further and you want a little more, take an inhale, turn your heart slightly up as you look up at the ceiling, and then exhale, reach. Now, if this bothers your neck, you can always look down at your left hand. It doesn't matter, you're still opening the right side body. So take an inhale, down the right side of the body to the right sit bone. And then exhale, see if the fingers reach a little further. Good. Inhale, let's come back up. Reach both arms up. Exhale, bring the hands down. Now we're going to switch into a hip opener on this side, and then we'll do both on the other side. We're going to come into this little pinwheel shape. So the right thigh comes out from the hip, directly, and then the knee and shin are at a 90-degree angle, and the foot is at a 90-degree angle. And so the left leg the same. It comes straight out from the hip down to the knee and the shin are at a 90-degree angle. The foot is at a 90-degree angle. There's a little rectangle right here in between the two legs. So from here, you'll take an inhale. You're going to walk forward onto your elbows, and maybe this is where you stay. Now, if this is too much, you can always take the pillow you had or the books, and you can put them here, under the elbows, if it's too much to go all the way to the floor, and you can just interlace your fingers like this. So that's your option. I want you to, listen to your body, and you'll learn when it tells you what it needs and what it doesn't like. So from here, you can rest on the elbows. You can take a pillow or a block and put it under your forehead like Nadia has, so that the neck and the head can relax. And you can let your belly rest on your thigh. And what you'll notice as you let your belly rest on your thigh, it's going to open up that hip all by itself. You don't have to try. You can just let the weight of your body do it. Now, if you don't have a pillow or a book, you can also make two fists and put your forehead on top of the two fists. Now, if you stay here for a little while, breathing into the right hip, and if you notice that you eventually begin to make more space in the hip, you can also walk yourself all the way forward until your head comes down either to the tops of your hands, or your head might come down to the floor. It just really depends on where you are. So allow yourself to stay here. Once you find a place where you want to be and you feel like you're at your little edge, stay there and just breathe into the right hip. And again, make space with the breath. Allow your body to open organically. Allow yourself to just relax and let it happen. Surrender your body for a moment. And then all you need to do is focus on the breath. Taking a few more inhales and exhales. One more deep inhale. One more full exhale. On your next inhale, if your head is down, you're going to take an inhale, begin to lift the head up, and walk yourself up. Good. And so from there, before we go into the other side, we can swing the legs around to the front, so both legs are out in front, and maybe just windshield wiper the feet. Or maybe you want to shake the legs out. Either one of those. Good. And then, so from there, we'll switch over to the other side. So mermaid pose on the left hip. And again, if you feel like you're falling this way, just bring something here, a blanket. You can tuck a blanket or a little pillow, anything will hold it up. From here, we'll take an inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, right hand down. You can walk it over if it wants to go over. Reach with the left fingertips. Now from here, take an inhale down the left side of the body. Exhale, see if you can get that teeny bit more length in the left side. Take an inhale if you want a little more, turn the heart up. You can look up at the ceiling. And exhale, reach. If this bothers your neck, look down at your right hand. That's totally fine. It still does the same thing. Take an inhale down the left side of the body, all the way to the left sit bone again. Puff up that left rib. Exhale, reach. Good. Inhale, let's come up to center. Bring the right arm up next to the left. Exhale down. And then we'll do that little hip opener on the other side. So left leg is forward this time, right leg is back. Remember the 90-degree angles, and one side might be different than the other, so no judgment of the body, just notice. Take an inhale, walk yourself forward until you can come down on your elbows. If you can't come down on your elbows again, use the blocks, your choice. And you can use a block to put your forehead on. if you don't have a block or a book or a pillow, you can always make 2 fists and put your head on that, or rest on your elbows and let your forehead rest on the heel of your hands. These are all options. So from there, breathing into the left hip, keeping the little flex in the feet. And noticing what happens when you breathe into the spaces where it feels like there isn't space. You make space with your breath. Noticing if you can slide the breath under that gluteus muscle into the muscles underneath the piriformis muscle. Allowing yourself to breathe into that. Feeling a sense of spaciousness, and on the exhale, feeling a sense of surrender and letting the upper body be heavy. Maybe it begins to rest on the thigh. One more inhale breath, letting yourself be nice and soft. Exhale all the way out. On your next inhale, we'll walk ourselves up, out of the pose. And again, we'll bring our legs out to straight in front. Move the block out of the way. Lift your hips up to shift onto the sit bones so that they're even. You can move the muscle out of the way so you're sitting on the sit bones. You can windshield washer the feet or shake the legs out. And from here, we're going to bring the feet together. And we don't want the feet, the heels super close to the pelvic floor. We want them further out so it's more relaxing. And in fact, you can, pull the gluteus muscle back if you feel like it's still kind of tucked under there. And keeping the feet together, you can hold on to the ankles first. And from here, you're just going to sit up straight. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, go ahead and walk forward. And you can hold the toes with interlaced fingers. You can bring the elbows in front of the shins. And we'll take an inhale again. Lift the heart forward and lengthen the back a little bit. And then we'll exhale. And maybe you walk the upper arms a little further down. And you can drop the head down. Now from here, we release effort. And we can let the head hang down. And you can begin to breathe down the back of the body. Now, if you want a block on your feet, if you don't want your head hanging in space, you can always put a block on the feet at any level and let your forehead rest on that. And so again, breathe down the back body, expanding on each breath, letting the breath be the best tool that you have to bring peace and space to your body. Space is peace in the body. So letting this pose become effortless and soft and softer with each exhale. Let's take a few more breaths here. All the way down the back body. One more deep inhale. Good. Now, if you have a block there on the exhale, move the block to the side for a moment and just see if you can let your head hang down for one more breath. Just heavy head. And from there, on your next inhale, go ahead and walk yourself up. Take your hands outside of your knees and exhale, close the knees together, and we'll straighten the legs out. And with a little space between the legs. And the reason why I say with a little space between the legs, because we're gonna do another yin type pose, and we may use the block. It's up to you if you wanna use the block. And there's a couple of options, and I'll show you what they are. So first we'll start with a regular forward bend. So we'll take an inhale, flex the feet, reach the arms up. Exhale, just fold forward, and you can grab your toes or your shins or your ankles, or maybe just let your palms rest on the floor. Now, to make this active for the first 3 breaths, just take an inhale, lift your heart forward, reach the crown forward so that the back lengthens, and then exhale, see if you can pull the belly in and bring the heart a little closer to the top of the feet. And again, not too much effort here. Let's do one more like that. Take an inhale, make the space in your spine, and then exhale. See if you can bring the heart a little closer to the top of your feet. Now, from here, we're going to bring it into a more of a relaxed yin type pose. So from here, you can either put the block between your legs and bring your hands down onto the mat by your legs and let your forehead rest on the block. That's one option. Now, if you don't go that far down, you can always bring the blocks out to the side of your legs, right by the calves, and put your elbows on the blocks and just rest on your arms so it looks like this. So it's either one of those. Let your feet relax, let your legs relax, let your knees unlock. Let your upper body round. So any of these are okay. Elbows on the blocks with the forehead on the arms. Block in the center with your forehead on that. Or you can just let your arms rest on the side and let your whole body round forward. It just depends on how you feel today. So trust your body and let your body communicate with you. And the only thing you have to do at this point is breathe down the back of the body. See if there are any areas in your body that feel like they need space. See if you can bring the breath into the center of your body so fully that maybe it opens up those areas all around the ribs or down the spine or in the low back, anywhere in the body that you can bring the breath. Experiment with it. Play with the body. See what happens. And so I'm going to be quiet for a few moments and just allow you to breathe and just hang out here. Try to make the exhales longer than the inhales. One more deep inhale. One more slow exhale. On your next inhale, lift your gaze first. And then begin to walk yourself up, but move slowly because we've been literally folded into ourselves. Notice the feeling of looking into yourself and how good that feels. So from there, we're going to bend the knees and place the feet on the floor, and we'll walk the feet all the way in, cross the left ankle over the right, and just hug your knees and lift your heart up like you're giving yourself a hug. Except really give yourself a hug like you give your friends. And from here, we'll uncross the foot and just look behind you. Make sure there's space behind you. Slip forward on the mat. And we're just going to rock forward and back. So it's just going to look like this. Little rock and roll forward. Just 3 times. Just kind of massaging the back. Good. And once you come up and place your feet down, you're going to place your feet a little bit wider than hip distance apart. We're going to go down to the floor. Take an inhale. Reach your hands forward so you lengthen the spine. And then exhale. Begin to roll down one vertebrae at a time to the floor. And it doesn't matter if you go fast or slow. Try to keep the fingertips even. And once you come down, let's stretch the legs out and reach the hands and toes away from each other, just nice long body. Good. And then on your next exhale, bring your knees into your chest and make some small circles with your knees. And circle in the other direction. Good. And coming back to center, we'll do one little twist before we fully rest. And so we can take the blocks out of the way, and you can just bring your arms straight out from the shoulders in a little T and lift up the hips. It's just a little shift like this. You're gonna lift up, shift over to the left, inhale with the knees into your chest, and then exhale, drop them over to the right side. Look at your left hand, and you can put your right hand on the outside of your left thigh, or you can just let your arms hang out. It's whatever feels the most comfortable for you today. One of my goals in teaching this practice is to allow people to become more familiar with their body and to be able to hear their body. Because our body has a wisdom of its own, and it speaks to us. And it can always tell you what it needs if you learn to listen to its subtle clues. And then just gently on your inhale and exhale, turn your head from side to side just to release the neck. You can just roll it from one side to the other. Again, imagining that we're floating in the ocean and our body is just liquid as the sea. And then once you've turned from one side to the other equally, take an inhale, bring your gaze up to the ceiling. You can bring your knees up to the ceiling. You can place your feet on the floor just to bring the hips in the center line first. And then take an inhale, lift the hips up and shift them over. You can either pop it over or put your feet on the floor to do it. Drop them over to the left. Look at your right hand. Again, dropping your knees down isn't as important. You can take your left hand to the outside of your thigh, or you can just leave the arms open. And so just allowing the weight of your legs to open the twist a little more, letting your shoulders stay on the mat, using the breath to open up space inside of you. And other than that, just allowing this to happen organically. And we'll take a few breaths here. And then you'll begin to, again, turn the head from side to side. Just releasing the neck. Thinking of that seaweed floating in the ocean, or a sea snake swimming through the water. Just fluid and soft and effortless. And then when you're ready, on an inhale, bring your gaze up to the ceiling. Take your left hand off the thigh. You can put your feet on the floor as you bring the knees back to center. Shift the hips back to center. And bringing your knees into your chest, this will be our last thing. We're going to take a happy baby. You're just going to grab the outsides of your feet and let your knees come down beside your ribs. Maybe your sacrum rests on the floor. And maybe if you can't grab your feet, it's okay. Grab your ankles. If you can't grab your ankles, grab the back of your calves. If you can't grab your calves, grab the back of your thighs. Either one, it doesn't matter, because all of it's about lengthening the low back. So if it feels awesome, you're doing it right. And if you want, you can rock from side to side, or you can just stay here. Breathing into the back body, breathing into the sacrum, breathing into the parts of the body that are touching the mat. And so we're winding down, taking one more deep inhale, one more slow exhale. Good. Letting go of the feet, bringing the knees into the chest, hugging your knees, bringing your forehead up to your knees, and Imagining that you're a little seed that's planted in the ground and about to bloom into the spring. And then as you exhale, release the body out. For Shavasana, you can straighten the legs. You can put a little space between your thighs so that the thighs roll out to the side. You can tuck your little shoulder blades under so that the heart is open. Find a place where you can allow your whole body to rest down. There's a reason that this is called corpse pose, and there is also a reason that it's considered one of the hardest poses in yoga, because it requires surrender. So allow yourself to surrender here, allowing the earth to support your body, feeling all the points of your body that are touching the mat, knowing that the earth has your back. Allowing yourself to move through the body, and again, put a little space between the teeth. Let the tongue relax into the bottom of the mouth. Relaxing your cheeks, your scalp, your forehead, your eyebrows, all the muscles around your eyes. Moving your awareness into your heart space. Nothing more to do here but breathe and relax. And this is your Shavasana, so you can make it as long as you'd like it to be. You can stay here, just allowing the arms and legs to get heavier and heavier, melting into the floor. And so when you're ready to come out of Shavasana, you can begin to deepen your breath, bringing the breath down your arms and legs until it begins to move into your fingers and toes, and you can start to bring some movement there in your hands and feet. You can circle the wrists and the ankles. Circle them in both directions. Good, and from here you can take an inhale, reach the arms over the head again, stretch the legs out, reaching the fingers and toes away from each other, and exhaling, bringing the knees into your chest, and you can roll over to your right side with your knees and elbows bent into a fetal position, bringing the knees up to the level of the navel if you can, supporting your head and neck with your right arm. Take a moment here to take a breath and allow this to be a moment of rebirth for you. This is the first position our body was ever in when we came into this physical body. So allow yourself to leave behind that which you don't need anymore. When you're ready, on an inhale, placing your left palm down, slowly begin to roll up from the side, one vertebrae at a time until you come into a comfortable cross-legged seat with your eyes closed and your awareness still on your heart. And you can take your left hand, palm down over your heart, and put your right hand on top of the left hand. Take a moment to thank your body, thank yourself, acknowledging the magnificent gift of your body and all the experiences that you've had in your body. Take a deep inhale here. As you exhale, bow your head towards your heart, acknowledging the wise teacher that's within you. Bringing the hands palm together. Namaste. Always recognizing and honoring the light in yourself as you recognize the light in others. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy the sun.
Or the moon.
Or whatever's there. Bye.